It's another edition of Best Trip, Worst Trip. Aaron, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about your life?
Thanks, Dietrich. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. What's up, people? My name's Aaron Wolf, and a little bit about me. Well, let's see, where do we start? I'm a Chicago native for the most part. I'm actually living in Asheville, North Carolina. It is where I call home as of about a year and a half ago. I work as an outfitter and guide. I also have recently transitioned to a formal 9 to 5 position with a really kick-ass nonprofit that I'm stoked to be a part of. But I like to spend most of my time outdoors playing with the trees and splashing puddles and whatnot. Um, Currently, I'm really digging all the trails and opportunities to hunt swimming holes in the mountains here, in the Blue Ridge and Smokies. What else? Let's see. Um, I have a dog. Her name's Tessa, and technically she's my girlfriend's dog, but it's one of those things that you just inherit when you're with someone for a long time. And now that dog is kind of glued to me, and she's probably the best trail companion I've ever known. So, uh, good dog, good lady, good life.
Dude, nothing wrong with that, right? Thanks for that quick download, man. That's a picture of a beautiful life, right? We all hope to be there one day. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. Well, yeah, it seems like you've taken pieces of Chicago with you as you've exited stage left over to Asheville. And yeah, look at him. And yeah, tell us what you're sipping on then in that beautiful Chicago flag cup.
yeah. So the cup, real quick, is it was the little handout from my sister's wedding a couple
Mm,
years ago.
classic.
I'm drinking this. It's actually one of the last beers I have left from Chicago after my last visit. Um, it's a Phase 3 double IPA called Bold.
Mm.
It's pretty damn good. I'm enjoying it.
Sweet, dude. Sweet, sweet.
Yeah,
I am sipping on some very cheap. It's called Wicked Grove. It's a little cider. So
cool.
this is usually a great first choice when breaking into the night or into the weekend, just because it's sweet. It's really refreshing, like super piping cold. And yeah, I love them. I love them.
All
I
right.
think sweet things are my go-to. And I've tried to make cider, and I've gotten close to this one time, but I'm still working on my recipe. So it's a good
Keep
one.
at it. Cheers.
Cheers, bro. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. Just to give people a little bit more picture into who you are, I wanted to jump into just some rapid fire laser fast questions. So the lightning round this time will be as normal. And as normal, I like to call it one gotta go. So it's basically for those, if it's your first time listening, or Aaron, if this is your first time playing, you should know that this is set up for you to always win, right? There's no real point values here in the game. Point values don't double in the last round. It's not Jeopardy, right? Nothing like that, right? It's just this idea of sharing your perspective. So with one's got to go, I'm gonna give you 4 options. Choose one that's got to go. Tell us why. That's it, right?
Okay.
So the first one, I think it's a pretty easy one. If you have had to take trips, I'm sure that you don't love fast food, but fast food is a part of all of our lives. And when you're on the road, sometimes you have to just deal with what's there. So for fast food, which one got to go? Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, or Burger King? Which one got to go?
Hmm. I think the people in the South are gonna kill me for this, but I'm gonna go Chick-fil-A.
Yo, why Chick-fil-A?
Uh, Shit. I don't have a good reason. I've honestly grown up in the Midwest. I have very little exposure to them.
Dang.
Um, I am I don't know. I don't know how they are now, but I remember when they first made their entrance into Chicago, there was a lot of political upheaval
A little
on some
controversy.
policies there. So I'm just
Oh
like
yeah.
gonna stay loyal there. And I have more happy memories going to McDonald's or Burger King as a child, and then Taco Bell as a drunk 20 something. So
You got to make space where there's already space in your heart, right? So that's what it is, love what you know, love the one you're with. So
yeah,
it seems like that's an okay answer. I have a couple more questions. Have you ever had a Chick-fil-A chicken nugget?
I have.
and you still chose to get rid of Chick-fil-A? That's wild. I think,
Well,
go ahead.
I am vegan,
Mm,
so I think maybe even I, I don't know if they have any like legitimate plant-based options. I know Burger King or McDonald's are working on the Impossible Burger of some kind, but
maybe meat.
honestly, like it's probably just French fries across the board till I something changes.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. I didn't know that about you. That's good that that you bring that vegan lifestyle full circle. That's really cool. That's huge. Fast food, vegan. I think that I would love to learn the options around that. Aside from, I guess, like salad options. I think that that's fine, but I think that like I feel like that would get hard and like old fast. Just be like iceberg lettuce at all these fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Cool. Next round, number
All
two.
right.
Another, I think you'll dunk this one. I think this is good. So which one gotta go? And this one's a little upended, right? Spiders, this is the insect edition. Spiders, gnats, cockroaches, or mosquitoes? Which one gotta go?
Oh boy. I'm thinking like if one vanishes, what will cause the least impact up the food chain? Like
Okay.
so here's what I'm thinking
Deep.
like mosquitoes because they spread a lot of disease.
Oh yeah.
Are How vital are they to the food chain? Spiders are definitely staying. Like they're around. We need
Wow.
spiders. Gnats, I don't know. They're relatively harmless, but they always seem to like get in your house in the summertime.
What does a gnat do? Like, is it just like a really little fly? Like, I don't
Little
understand.
little fly that likes sugar.
Interesting.
I guess cockroaches, man. Like
What?
they gotta go.
You choose cockroaches. Tell us more. Because I feel like there's one right answer to this, and it ain't that. But go for it.
Well, I just feel like they cause a lot of they're like they're the one bug that if it's in your house is complete trash. Like it's no matter what, like what is like wrong with how you live. There's a cockroach, like there,
Yeah, it's like
they're
value
mostly everywhere.
judgments. It's like you're less of a good person if you have those in your house as
Yeah,
a
but then
resident,
I mean,
and
we've
that's
all
not
lived
true,
somewhere with roaches.
right? It's hard out there. It's hard out
Yeah,
there. Yeah,
but I don't know. I think they're just like little of the creepy crawlies, the nastiest, and
interesting.
I don't
Okay.
know. Am I a bad humanitarian if I don't choose mosquitoes?
I don't know. I would say for the humanitarian reasons as well as for the personal ones, the mosquitoes is the perfect cross section of like altruistic and you know, yeah, like whatever
Yeah,
humanitarian
yeah,
needs. Because it's just
I
like
know.
buy malaria, see a West Nile, like plus no more mosquito netting.
Yeah,
Like think about that.
encephalitis. Yeah, but I also wonder how much life they support.
These answers are so sustainably based. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think this is the most bio-conscious answer that I've heard. And then you like went left and were like, if you have roaches, you're a bad person.
That's not how I feel, but
I know,
it's
I hear you,
the
but I know that
societal
that's
interpretation.
the general energy is like, yo, how are you living? But I'm sure. I mean, I'll speak from my first apartment in Hyde Park. Beautiful space. 2 months in, we walk into the kitchen. There's a roach. We freaked out, dude. First apartment. I'm like, this is awesome. I got my own place. Freaking out. But
Damn.
it happens, man. It's the city, right? It's just like rats.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
It's
You
anywhere,
just
man.
don't
It's
see them.
anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's 100%. That's it. Roaches are gross. Yeah, that's true. All right. So then, last one here as we transition out. Yeah, I'll give you this one. So this one is movie based cinematography, right? Whose filmography's got to go? Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, Seth Rogen, or Ben Stiller?
Huh.
Jim Carrey, Steve Carell, Seth Rogen, or Ben Stiller?
So not a huge movie guy, but I
Okay.
can recall at least one movie of each of those folks that I really enjoy, and I think Ben Stiller's would be at the bottom. So
Hmm.
wait,
That would mean a lot of movies that I think are worth keeping, but I hear you. I understand that's conflict.
like Zoolander,
Zoolander's gone. Think
so
about a
funny.
world without Zoolander. I don't know if
I
I
don't
can live in
know.
that world all the time.
I
Think
don't.
about Dodgeball. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I definitely can't live in a world without that movie. So
Yeah,
Thanos, like it's yeah.
I don't know. Like Jim Carrey, like he cracks me up. He's just such a goofy bastard.
I mean, that's the one right answer is Jim Carrey can never be taken off that list. Jim Carrey's the list. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like if two had to go, Jim Carrey would still be on the list. So
yeah. I mean, no matter what part they play, the movie's gone.
I mean, yes and no, because that was the other conflict I had with another friend of mine is that there's some movies where it's like Seth Rogen and Steve Carell, right? Like 40-Year-Old Virgin. If you're into that, like they're both in that. So if you choose one, that movie doesn't
Yeah,
exist either way.
maybe I don't know. Maybe it is Steve Carell, and that's not a knock to The Office. The
Yeah,
Office was, you know,
it was great. Yeah,
is great, but it's not a movie. So
that's true too. And that was the point I made. Is that you're not getting rid of their whole catalog, you're getting rid of their filmography.
yeah, maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's all about what's in writing. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So then the last question we'll compare. This isn't a huge comparison, like one's got to go, but I think I know your answer to this. Let's see how well I can assume. But mountains or beach, which one?
Mountains.
Of course, I knew it. Tell the people why, though.
Oh, there's more. There's more to it than the beach.
Hmm.
The beach, I feel like you've got the sand and then you've got the water. But in the mountains, you have most likely, hopefully, you've got water, but you've got ridges and gulches and ravines and different, different boulders, things to climb on, things to explore. And unless you've got a scuba set, you're pretty much landlocked to that strip of sand. You can't really. I mean, you can go swimming,
Right.
but
Yeah.
the mountains I think unlock a lot more. There's a lot more to see and a lot more to explore. But I love the beach too, man. Don't get me wrong. I spent like a week on the beach last June. It was awesome.
Yeah. I hear you, dude. And I think that you bring up a great point of like, hey, you don't have to get rid of all like water exploration and enjoyment, you know, because sometimes mountains and beaches are like close, or you have a lake and it's awesome. Those alpine lakes are like incredible.
Yeah,
So yeah,
gorgeous.
that's really sweet. Awesome. Well, last little comparison question: if you had to be a household appliance, what would you be and why?
Oh shit. What was this? Did I answer this? Stove. I'm the oven. I'm the oven.
Mm, why are you the oven? Because you keep things hot and people are always trying to open you up.
Well, I think no matter what, you're always producing something that is fresh. And even if you're not, like if you're heating up like leftovers, like you're not there to hold on to stuff. You're there to produce
Mm,
something warm and tasty. Uh, you're not taking home leftovers to put in the fridge. Um, you know, uh, I mean the stove is probably more utilitarian. You boil your water, you can make it just about any dish. But I like the idea of the oven being that warm place that always has something fresh coming up.
that's what's up, dude. I like that. It takes a little bit of time, but it's always worth the wait. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There it is. I like that. There it is. I think for me, it's hard. It's so hard to choose. Like, because I think for me, I'm always about like I was gonna choose like the lamp or maybe even like a like mechanical toothbrush. I think those are great appliances, but I
Uh,
think that the appliance line would be more like like a toaster, right? Like I'm all about like, honestly, for me, this is like really good. Like as far as like my personality, like I'm all about, starting the day, right? Toasters like starting line, like that's my
Yeah.
spot. That's the beginning of like a great, sandwich setup. Like the
Right.
toaster, you put that in there, and then your day's not going to be worse because you pop that up and you got a fresh bagel that's done. But I think that good or bad, um, I'm a quick starter. I'm like, let's go, let's get it, and then I'm on to the next piece of bread. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's my move. That's me. So
I
appreciate
like
you,
that.
dude. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no, it's been good thinking about these questions with you, man. Any other things you want to get off your chest before we get going? Any shout outs you need to give, or people that are on top of mind for you?
Hmm. Shout outs. Shout outs. You know what? I will shout out my buddy Josh Smith, who's also launching his own podcast.
Yeah, dude.
He's just a great guy. He's a dear friend of mine, and I think he digs the 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 flow of a good conversation. So, uh, and I just got a chance to catch up with him earlier today. So,
Sweet. Well, Josh, keep rocking and rolling, man. Maybe we'll cross paths one of these days. Awesome.
yeah, it's possible. Oh, one more. My buddy Steve, he had his birthday yesterday, so he's climbing that old age ladder like the rest of us.
Steve, climbing the mountain, almost over the hill. Look at
Yeah,
him. Let's
yeah.
go. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you again for being here. Excited to hear more about you and to learn some of these details, as I'm sure everyone was excited to hear. But the reason we're here is to hear about your best trip and worst trip. So let's just go ahead and jump in. And you just let us know, set the stage for your trip. Yeah, tell us a little bit about where you were going, what you expected, and how that trip fit or did not fit your expectations and planning. Set the stage.
Okay. So this trip was part of a long road trip I was on. This was one spot that I only heard about from someone I met in Chicago. I didn't know this person very well. It was really um, secondhand knowledge, and I was going. Yeah, right.
Sometimes that's great, and sometimes it's catastrophic. But sorry, go
Trusted source. So the destination is in the Gila National Forest, the Gila Wilderness in New Mexico.
Okay.
And I'm on this road trip, and I stop in the ranger station first to tell them where I'm going because I have little information. Surely they have more information.
Yo.
They had only heard about what I was talking about and didn't really have any tips outside of bears, mountain lions, and wolves.
So wait, let me make sure I'm tracking. You're going to a place called the Gila or the Gila,
Gila,
like Gila,
Gila.
like
Yep.
Gila monster, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. So you're going to the Gila National Forest out in New Mexico. You're alone,
Yep.
and you're flowing on fumes, right? Secondhand knowledge, just trying to
Yep.
like figure your way through, and you encounter the Rangers, and they can't really even help you out aside from pumping you full of stories about watch out for this, watch out for that.
Yeah. Well, it's November and it's the Southwest. It's probably no risk of fire at the time, and it's I don't know. It's just beautiful like bluebird day. Um, I have my gigantic van that I decked out to like live out of, and I have these huge knobby tires on at the time. Like so, I'm like crawling mountains with this thing,
Yeah, you're
and
overlanding out here. Yeah,
yeah, it was nuts.
that's wild.
So the Rangers understand I'm trying to get to this place on a creek where there's hot springs. Okay,
That's
so I'm looking for like a little slice of heaven,
dude.
and they they say they've heard of it, they've never been.
Hmm.
It's wherever. So I don't have a paper map, but they can't pinpoint it on a map. I have um, all trails, but again, there's no marked path to it. I only have like a parking place for the creek that I should be on.
Yeah.
But first, you have to ford the river. But
What?
let me back up. I'm in my van, right? It's an over an hour drive just to get to like the place to park, and most of it is just crawling through a canyon
It's like,
and on the side of a mountain, dude. It was like,
yeah.
I mean, you need like a high clearance vehicle at a minimum. It was insane taking my van on this thing. There were many times where I'm just like burning, trying to, I'm pumping the gas right here, like under my desk. I'm pumping the gas and just like trying to get over these rocks and holes. It was just nuts.
Dude.
So I finally make it down and I park, and here's the Gila River, cold and clean and about waist deep. And I just didn't, I was just so pumped with adrenaline that I've like finally made it through. Like my whole setup in the van just got like obliterated going down
Oh,
this
man.
canyon. It was just rocking.
Skin tossed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny, but I'm just pumped with adrenaline. So I jump in the river and I cross this thing, but I don't cross it at the right time. Um, you know, I'm over time, I'm really losing a lot of daylight
Yeah.
because I didn't have the just didn't have the location, I
You're shooting in the dark. You know what I mean? Just like
the,
trying to
the,
figure it out.
the landmark that I needed, which was the confluence of the creek to the Gila,
Got it.
dried up. So I'm looking for water flowing into water,
And you
and
ain't,
I'm on, like a rocky riverbank alongside a rocky riverbank, and I'm just like, whatever. So
dude.
it got a little hairy. I made camp. My my sandals that I'm hiking in completely fell apart.
Oh, man.
Stitch them back together, they fell apart. Stitch them back together at the first camp, they fell apart. And eventually, I made it to the hot springs
Same day or the next day or what?
the next day.
Wow. Tell us about that move. You're moving around in your Tivas or Chacos or whatever,
They
and
were
they're like,
TFAs, man.
that was my first pair of hiking sandals too. I climbed in those. It was crazy.
Oh, I ended up climbing too on accident for sure, dude.
Yeah.
I must have followed a game trail and went up and up and up,
Dude.
to the point of like it's just too steep to go down. So I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna scoot down the side of this mountain.
That's wild.
And what's not a juniper tree, but starts with a J.
Mhm.
Another coniferous tree in the southwest, but that pretty much slowed me down. I probably descended a good like what's that?
Like a Joshua tree or something else?
No, not a Joshua tree. I should know this, but anyways, I'm scooting down this side of the mountain, and there's no stopping me unless you're this big ass tree. So the tree gets me slowed down, and I hobble my way back onto the trail, or what I think is the trail. Um,
Okay.
get to a point where like there's literally, I remember this one part. That's how I knew I was on the right path, because the girl who told me about this place said you got to go through a keyhole slot.
Mm.
So I take my pack off and I'm shoving this thing through like a manhole,
And it's face down or face forward type
just
deal?
straight. Like I can see through it, but it's like, I mean,
No.
you're crawling, military style, just pushing my pack through and sucking dust. And then I come out and like there's this freaking gap that's just bridged with like old driftwood. And that's how people are like getting across. And I'm just like, what in the world? So
My God.
obviously I make it across just fine. Um, and then out of nowhere, I run into three old men.
What? So wait, before you tell me about these old men, I just want to make sure we're tracking. So this is this scoot or slide, right? This rock slide is post or pre hitting the hot spring.
Pre.
This is on the way. This is you on the way to the hot spring. So
Yeah.
you're hitting it, you're trying to get through, you slide down this thing, and then you end up going through this keyhole. kind of like a belly crawl cave kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So I know I'm on the right track because the chick told me so. Uh, I'm hiking along at a slow pace, and I run into these three old men who are telling me about the petroglyphs on the cliffs and telling me about the swimming holes. He telling me that you got to go naked, like straight up, like showing me pictures of him and his buddies like jumping off rocks, ass naked. I
who
mean,
are
these
these
guys are like,
guys?
yeah, I mean, probably this is what I'm looking at in 30 years, man. Like,
That's
I just
wild.
met
Well, I'm
myself. I'm
glad
just
you
looking
didn't
for
run
myself
into
in
them
30 years.
inside that keyhole. They might have been, right next to you or something.
But they were good guys. I chit chat with them for a minute, and I honestly only knew I was getting close to the hot springs because the water was getting warmer in the creek.
What up, dude?
So I made it to the hot springs. It was awesome. Uh, I let's see. On my way back, I got like legitimately lost
Oh no, that's
because
wild.
I was so pumped on the way in. I just didn't take stock of
Wasn't paying
landmarks.
attention, yeah.
When
And those
where did I
guys
cross the
didn't.
river?
They didn't stay with you at the hot springs, so y'all didn't come out together.
Oh no, no. I like it was like, oh hey, I'm going to the hot springs. Oh, you got to go naked, and that was it.
Oh wow.
Okay, goodbye.
And then they were gone. Whoa.
Well, yeah, I mean they were doing their thing, and I was on my way. Uh, on the way out, um, mind you, along the way, I've seen every track of like a big predator minus bear.
Oh
I
what?
saw cougar print, I saw wolf print, and I saw javelina. It was just nuts.
Wait,
And
wait. What's a javelina?
they're a kind of a pig, like some kind of swine
Oh
that are
wow.
wild out there. Yeah,
Okay, like feral
uh,
pig kind of thing.
yeah. Well, not feral. They're native.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, but it was just crazy. So on the way out, and when I'm like at the peak of being super lost, I'm just like I've been out there for like 3 or 4 days, and I'm just tired. I'm trying to get back to the van, kind of at my end of the energy because I've been hiking like pretty much barefoot,
Yeah.
and just this, I'm on this little bank on the river. I've been in the river nonstop. I mean, I should have just floated my ass down until I saw the van. But um, then I'm trying. And there's just bear tracks everywhere, and I'm just like, this is,
That's
you know,
crazy.
how am I getting out of here? And
Yeah.
there's absolutely no way. So you just gotta deal with it. Slow yourself down, take it
Think through.
slow, and I took stock of my supplies and kind of prepared for the long haul.
Whoa.
Uh, so I'll leave it at that.
That's crazy. So then you're in that position, you're seeing bear tracks, you didn't see any actual bear, and they have black bear out there, or what's up?
Yeah, it's black bear. I mean, generally, you should have respect for bears, but uh, black bears are not typically too concerned with getting run up on. But I don't care, man. Like a bear is a bear. I'm not a large person. I don't think no matter how big you are, you're gonna go fight a bear. I don't think so.
Nah, not
But
gonna happen. Not me neither. So yeah, I hear you, bro. That's wild. So you get back eventually to the van.
yeah,
Okay. And then you just kind of chill for a day or two and then drive back out, or you drive out immediately. How does
yeah. I just got out of there. I had places to be. Um, but it wasn't easy. It took me a long time, and it was pretty scary because it's just big out there, man.
yeah. So you were legitimately like lost for a little while then.
Yeah, I no map, no bearing on my phone. Um, I didn't know if I was upstream or downstream of the vehicle.
Oh, so just the landmark of the river is just like, hey, I gotta keep trailing and hopefully, right? No
Yeah.
pump. Did you bring like a water pump or anything with you? So
Oh yeah, yeah. I had. I mean, I could have survived out there for a long time with what
right.
I had. Um,
Dang man.
like I would have had water no matter what, but
Yeah.
food would have
Which
ran
is
out.
I mean, that's the move when you're at the end of your rope, literally. So I guess my question then, it sounds like you're kind of closing that idea of this trip. What moment did you know that was your best trip or your worst trip?
Um, Probably like months later.
Okay. All right. Well, continue. Tell us more, man.
Of the other trip,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. What months later though? Like, are you? What do you mean by that?
well, I mean, you just reflect, and either it's man, like how lucky was I,
Oh,
or how dumb was I, um, how special is this place?
mm,
Um, so it wasn't when I got out of there. It was like, all right, I'm going to Arizona now. Time to like check out the Tonto
okay.
and and see my buddy.
That's what's up.
That's where I was at. You know, you didn't process all of it until
Yeah.
I'm back home. Like this was like maybe week 3 of like a 2.5 month thing.
Oh, dang. I didn't
Yeah.
realize. So this is just one leg of a bigger trip.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, yeah, definitely looking forward to hearing more either about that or otherwise. I've definitely I ask it that way though, just because there's a couple experiences that I've had where pretty immediately I knew that this was, like you said, pretty dumb that I did or did not prepare for. And yeah.
Yeah. So I can go forward if that was the best or the worst, unless you want me to go to the other.
Yeah, continue to tell
Okay.
me more about your other trip then. Yeah.
I will. I'll say that this is definitely the best trip.
All right, let's get it.
No, the Gila was.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That was the best trip.
Yeah.
Yo, well, I am I'm blown then because that sounds pretty bogus to me. That sounds like you got lost. It sounds like you basically just had water. You were on your own and you were kind of like second guessing, not a ton of beta on the trail, not a ton of places that you were able to take advantage of because you were kind of working on empty. So I was assuming or feeling the vibe of a worst trip, but it's good to know that I was wrong. So tell us
Well,
more.
I've been lost before. Um, Never in a place as I guess dangerous as the Gila. I wouldn't say dangerous, but just like I'll say this: like if you can't find a good place to camp and you're on that river, like you're at risk of flash flood. There's a lot of big animals out there. What made it the best was just the awe of it all. It was a
Mm.
crystal clear night. Every night I was out there. I was cowboy camping, so I didn't bring a tent. I was just under the stars.
So yeah, that's real.
And the hot spring was amazing. Um, just downstream, there was a natural water slide that I just rode. I just like this could work.
Those are sweet. I've
So
done a couple of those in California. They're sweet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, and I had the place to myself. There was no one. I mean, obviously, there's no one else out there except for 3 old naked men. And
That's cool, man. It's so interesting too what goes into that because again, based on experience and expectations, right? Like I think that determines a ton of what creates a best trip or a worst trip, and I think that it's cool that for you that solitude really provided that on ramp to being something you wanted, even if it had elements peppered in that you didn't want as well.
it was awesome, man.
It's legit, dude. Well, now that we know, you can pivot. Tell us about a time worse than at the Gila, man.
Worst trip. Totally prepared. Had everything I needed. Had all the people signed up who I was guiding. Um,
Oh,
Without dropping any names, is with a group of a group of young folks, um, and some adult help. Excuse me, this beer is
it's coming up.
bubbling.
That's nothing wrong with that.
The uh, the worst trip because it got really unsafe and it got really frustrating really quick.
Oh, dang.
Um, Working with kids who just they're they wanted to be there because they came along, but they didn't quite have an understanding of why we were out there. We were out there for 3 days in Michigan, in the Manistee, a place I know very well. Had been working with this group of young people for a long time and building skills in anticipation for this thing. And we hike in, everything's going fine. It's about 3 miles in, and um, we had actually a really successful first night. Everything was fine. We all got a good night's sleep. It wasn't until the second day we were coming back from a day hike, and some of the boys just started having a beef with each other, and it turned violent. And one boy who's like he's just a large, like full. He's at the time he was 15, but he may as well have been like a full grown adult. The other, same age but much smaller, just just getting looking for weapons of opportunity, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
I'll bludgeon you with a stick. I will throw rocks. Um, you know, Came to the point where one was like lunging for like the camp knife, and we had to like really be vigilant, and we got everyone calmed down, and one of the boys decided to like run away, more or less, to just like hustle up this hill. And man, like you cross that trail, and like you're in the middle of thousands of acres of forest, um, with no real way out.
And no
Yeah.
bearing on how you're
So,
gonna get back.
so we got kids going rogue, and uh, it was scary because this kid could get lost, and or he'd come back and like beat this other kid down with a tree trunk.
Right.
Um, it was very real, and we finally got everyone back to camp and made the decision to leave, to evacuate, more or less,
Damn.
uh, for safety. And one of the boys says like, "F this, I'm not carrying my pack." He's like, "Screw all this." And
What?
mind you, Dietrich, this is something that, like, we had been working together for months.
Oh my God.
These are boys that them and I had a mutual understanding and respect for each other, and had a lot of fun the entire year,
Right.
going on day trips and stuff
Not
like
just
that.
randos. It's these are
Right,
youth that you're connected to.
right. And so I end up hiking with two packs, uh, because this guy is just like, he's done.
Bro,
And,
that's wild.
we're fighting daylight, so now we're hiking in the dark, or racing daylight. It's just here's probably what set me up. I didn't like get like blow a fuse or anything, but in my mind, the worst part was when we got back to the van. Everything was fine. There was no beef. The spirits were high, and they even asked, when do they get to come back.
Wait, what? So
Yeah.
wait, that's like the biggest left turn in that whole scenario. So wait, is that then the moment that you knew, like, that this is the worst trip, or was there a different moment for you?
uh
Because for them, it clearly that wasn't the moment.
for them, that was the best trip.
Right. They're like, oh my God, we get to do this again. I can't wait to fight you in the woods.
I think the moment I knew that was the worst trip, again, like after time to like decompress, like
Yeah.
there was no time to think of anything else except for safety.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
make
real.
sure no one's gonna get hurt. Make sure we get out of here all together, without like twisting an ankle on like something in the dark, or
Well,
stumbling down a riverbank, and like,
while carrying two packs. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, for people who don't know this, Aaron's a guide, right? That's like, he runs his outfitting thing. I think he mentioned that at the top of our time. And I think I mean, that safety aspect is something that is always brewing back there. And to have to do an evac is just like admitting defeat in a way, and that sucks. But then also to have to do it for safety is like a whole nother level. So I think that I could see how that feeling of like challenged control of the scenario, or whatever, is like that would be a real thing to be like, how am I gonna handle this? B, in the processing time between now and next time. How is that next time ever gonna happen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question: did you ever go out with that group again?
Not with all of the same guys together.
Got you.
But I definitely saw a couple of them over time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was awesome. Just like seeing it, because they're young boys, like early teens. You have this big experience with them, and yeah, it didn't go the way you want,
Right.
but they're okay. But then you see them some months later, they're growing. They're just changing.
Yeah.
And I mean, you understand it,
Yes.
it, you feel good. It's like you get to kind of watch this young person go on a journey, and sure that something went wrong. But who doesn't have a bad day?
True.
I don't
Yeah.
blame them for like anything. Um,
Yeah.
but I did get to hang out with them again. We did get to go on some day trips. Um,
Awesome.
and I hope that they have that memory of hopefully something positive outside of like the fight that broke out.
Yeah. God. Crazy. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
imagine, man. I can't imagine. I think that's a very steep incline to like enjoyment, but I think that again, everybody comes with their own stuff, and yeah, when you build in, yeah, when you have youth and that unpredictability that comes with it. Not that like all young people are just like wow, just like whatever, but yeah, people are growing. They're growing into themselves and
Yeah.
their emotions and whatever else. So it's good though. It's good to see those two like layers of like solitude and then also like group dynamics.
Yeah.
And now I see why you like solitude. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit though, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming out. Is there anything else you wanted to share about either trip?
I'll say this: we made some kick-ass backcountry pizzas with the group.
Let's get it.
The boys crushed it. I mean, they did fine going in. And as for the Gila, man, like it was such a special place. I promised myself I'd return, probably with like a Jeep Wrangler or something to
Traverse the hills.
but it was just epic. And most of the time I was like, in a canyon,
Yeah.
and it was cold as hell at night because it was a north-south kind of thing. So the sunlight didn't really come in till like midday.
For sure.
But it was just hands down probably one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. I mean, I never felt alone because the stars were so incredible, and the plants and the creek and the hot springs. So it's just like a very, you're just high on life, in a place like that. So
definitely, dude. I can definitely
go
feel
back.
that energy. That's huge. I think we definitely want to get those maybe some photos or trails mentioned in the show notes, and maybe I'll get some of those details from you later with any photos or whatever you want to kind of put out there as well. If you took any that you can dig up out of your
I have some photos.
That'd be ideal, man. That'd be ideal. Well, we appreciate you for coming on and giving us a down low about your best trip, worst trip. It's always important to remember and manage the small things. So it seems cool that you've been able to kind of do such a variety of trips, and maybe we'll hear more in the future about other legs of that 3-4 week thing that you were doing out west, for sure.
Oh yeah, man.
Definitely.
That was it was such a great time.
Sure, definitely. Well, appreciate you, Aaron. We'll catch you next time, dude.
All right, Dietrich.
Later.
Been down and I'ma get it right. Dead on sight like been down and I'ma get it right. Dead on sight like